Oh, wait a minute. Over here, this button. Good morning. 11 a.m., May 27th, 2023 on a Saturday. For those of you who are in Zoom, I did mute you so I could get the show started without having you in my ear. All right, there's my audio confirmation. Came through. Got one more I need to do. There. Now. Back to the right page. Today, May 27th, 2023, Saturday. I think I already said that. Repeating myself. I don't know. Did I already say that? Let's come over here and say hello to people in the chat room. Chris Garrett, hello. Chris Garrett, how to recover a copy of your data from old scratch CD DVD disc. He's got a couple of links there. I did look at those before starting the show. Let's see. It was entertaining to see that the one video that he had was here we go, from 6 years ago, from a channel that has 174 subscribers. So that video didn't get actually it did get a lot of attention, 65,000 views on that. I'm not going to spend much time on that because that's not a question that comes up very often, but apparently he was able to recover some files from that. Now, when I looked at that video, I was interested to see that he didn't actually demonstrate that the files were usable after they were recovered. So hopefully they are working. That is working for Chris. Josh says hello in chat, and Darren and Ken says he'll be listening for 15 minutes and then rejoining on PC. Ida Rivera, hello, so happy Monday. The elephants in quarantine ended. She was moved today with the other two elephants having the time of her life. Down here, Wintermute gives us a link to that, and I have that pulled up on another screen here somewhere. Here it is. Here's the elephant cam and people chatting in there. Earlier it was on a different angle, so I guess it changes angles now and then, or different cameras probably, or maybe they're turning the camera. I don't know. Tony Wallow says good morning, and just scanning down the names mainly. Chris says he was the fifth one to like. If you're able to claim your like number, put that in chat. Say like, space, and then the number that you were for liking today's video. If I come over today's video, I can say that I am number 13. Whoops, nope. I don't know if I was 14 or 15. Jeez. All right. That wasn't responsive, I guess. Rick Lakes and Idaho to Wintermute. I'm watching on my laptop nonstop since this morning. We're all waiting for the big moment when Bo gets to where Tara and Mundi are. So Ida's been keeping up with that all morning. People checking in with each other. How are yous? How are you doing? Kind of comments and questions. Jonathan, Rick Lakes, Tony, Wintermute. Tony Wallow, $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Tony. Ran Israel, hello everybody, whenever and wherever you are, whatever time dimension you are, whatever space and time dimension you are, because you're in a different space dimension than I am, because I'm here. This is my space. You're not here. You're in a different space. And you're probably in a different time dimension if you're in a different time zone. So we're in different time-space dimensions. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Black Serendipity, hello, CFWW. Happy Memorial Day weekend to all. And thank you to all the service people, veterans, and currently serving service peoples for your service. How many times can I say service in the same paragraph? Chris Garrett to Rick Lakes. Let's see. That was checking on somebody's health status, and Chris cracked himself up over that joke. This just jumped around for me. What is all this jumping? There we go. Sure like to find a good fix for my chat room. When I do a chat add-in to XSplit, it doesn't let me highlight. It doesn't let me go up and down. So we're stuck with this. Got to remind myself, reduce and limit the amount of up and downs as much as you can. Jonathan, and Jonathan says topics 2 and 5, please. Let's go see what those are. Topics 2 and 5. 2 is assisting Josh Kinder. He's in the Zoom session, so we'll get to that soon. And 5, assist LonnDawg with troubleshooting sluggish computer if the computer is available. Last Saturday it wasn't available. I haven't heard from him recently whether we're going to get to do that or not. I don't think I've seen LonnDawg in the chat room, right? No, because there's been no paragraphs. I know he's not here yet. Continuing 2 and 5. Tony says AVDVR W good. No, W is not good. The watch needs to be on the desk. Selden Ball, greetings all. 72 degrees Fahrenheit and sunny. A little bit cooler day here than it has been lately. Greetings to all from Brian Lightfoot. Would like to know what 7 is all about. What is 7? Troubleshoot Baby Beast unauthorized changes blocked. I'd like to know what that's about too. That'll be live troubleshooting. I have had these warning messages, notifications come up on Baby Beast saying unauthorized changes blocked. I've got an idea what it is, but I have not investigated at all. So if we go down that road, that will be a live investigation. More hello, Speedy C, Selden Ball. 7 sounds intriguing, perhaps user error. Yeah, well, actually, yes. That in a sense, it could have been the user's fault for that coming, for that happening. I got a suspicion. Paul, 1961. Hello to you, Paul. Good to see you. Chris Garrett, from one CD, some Word documents were read-only. They were things typed in WordPad and Windows 98 and XP. Also, some Notepad was read-only. Well, if it's read-only, that means you could highlight it, copy it to a new document. So that's useful. Paul says, hi, Bobby was like number 13. William was like number 13. Selden Ball was like number 13. I think I was too, wasn't I? Chris, I will try to edit those on my Windows 98 desktop. Well, I don't think you need, I wouldn't worry about editing those files. If you can copy that content to another file, that would be valid recovery. Hello, Nova. Jonathan asked number 7. Number 7 again was the unauthorized changes blocked. I have, let's see, where is that one in here? There's something I had in here about Wireshark. Yeah, this. Explore what happens during speed test via Wireshark. Actually, I kind of have that preset up today for using Wireshark to monitor what's going on with the stream, with the stream data being sent up to YouTube. So I kind of have that preset up that I can give a short exploration there if we wind up doing that. I think YouTube doesn't interlock the like numbers. Yeah, YouTube has these servers all around the country, right? So when a like comes in and they get accumulated at some authoritative source, if multiple of their servers send in a like to the authoritative server, how do they define which is which? Well, it's probably that I'm calling it authoritative. So I'm making this up, right? 98% of all statistics are made up, including that one. Yes, so, yeah, without... Move on, Doug. Stop talking about that. Okay. Maybe 14... there it skipped again. See, if I use the scroll wheel, that's when it jumps on me. Maybe I shouldn't use the scroll wheel. I'll use the scroll bar. Let's try that for a while. Maybe 14... Maybe we hit the like at the same time. Time dimension, LOL from Nova. John Williams, good afternoon from Medicine, Wisconsin. It's very nice, 74 degrees. That's where Oshkosh is. I've been to Oshkosh for the EAA. I've been on their grounds, but for a training conference. I haven't been there for the big air show that they do. Bobby Warren, William, I have a Spectrum outage now. Oh, Bobby, not again. Ran Israel. As the globe turns, in 10 hours or so, your space will become my space. Yeah, if I leave something on the floor here and wait 10 hours, will it show up on your floor? Like position number 15 for Speedy C. Our Spectrum service is like a roller coaster. Speed issues from John. John Williams is in Madison, Wisconsin. Speedy C says topics 2, 5, and 7. 2 is Josh Kinder. 5 is LonnDawg. 7 is the unauthorized changes block. Those sound like those are popular. More popular than my Wireshark thing. Use the scroll box, Doug. Bobby Warren, John Williams, I have no speed issues. I'm in Tampa, Florida. I have no internet service now. It's not a speed issue. It's an on or off button. When my brother Stan was working for title insurance companies over in Santa Cruz, when he was in his early 20s, he was describing that the drivers around there, they didn't treat their gas pedals as, he didn't say, oh, come on now, there's digital devices and there's analog. He didn't refer to the word analog for a gas pedal, but he said that people were using their gas pedals as on and off switches. On, off is the way they drove in Santa Cruz. John Williams, I have no speed issue. I already read that. Move on, Doug. Carl J, Jim, KJN, running late, DVR engaged. Very, very good, Picard. Did he say that? If you have no internet service, how are you watching on 5G as through mobile device? I figured that one. Carl J just liked number 10. Thank you. Chris to Bobby, then you have internet service. You have internet service on your phone, but not on your computer. Okay, I'm using the scroll bar and it was still kind of glitchy. Paul says signs of worn or dirty mouse wheel. No, I think it's a sign of the chat, the way that YouTube chat works. My mouse wheel works really well. It's very principal in my Fortnite gameplay. So no, mouse wheel's okay. By the way, I am drinking a mixed drink. Mixed drink. Part cold refrigerator water and part tap or room temperature water. Mixed drink. I'm talking about home internet service out. Bobby Warren, Chris, if you're at home, yeah, more on that. Spectrum, I'm going to move past that, move past Spectrum. Good luck with what you're dealing, not to diminish the significance of that. I knew what he meant. I know you're messing with him. That's why I'm kind of skipping over with it, because I'm ready to move on. Alex Cheek, are you logging into Zoom on both computers, Doug? What? Oh, from Alex. Hello, are you logging into... Oh, yeah, I'm logged into Zoom on both Big Beast and Baby Beast. We'll get to that in a minute. Chris was saying, was it vodka or water on the rocks? Yeah, well, you could say water on the rocks, although there's no actual ice cubes. Spoke to a few neighbors. They said their speed is slow. There. Okay, I'm all caught up. Let's go say hello to people in Zoom. I'm going to unmute Zoom from XSplit and punch over, and you all can unmute yourself, and I'll start in my upper left corner. Oh, I'm going to turn on my video there. Hello, Brian Lightfoot. How are you today? Hello, Brian Lightfoot. How are you today?
Good morning.
Good morning. And mute your YouTube, please. And good morning. And mute your YouTube. There you go. Thank you. Did you have any issues to bring to the table today, or are you just going to participate and hang with us? Brian, that question was to you.
That was me. I'm sorry.
Okay. I was giving Brian a chance to ask if you brought any topics today. Hello, Brian. First Brian.
Muted because he thinks it's him.
What? Oh, I'm muted on Zoom. Okay, now I just unmuted myself on Zoom. That's why Brian was just sitting there and not responding to me, and I was thinking he was mad at me and just not going to talk to me. Brian, my question to you.
Rewind.
Did you have any topics to bring to the table today, or
Yeah,
are you
number
going to focus?
7, and unauthorized changes. I'd be curious as to where that message is emanating from. I don't think
Okay.
it's a system message.
Okay. Good luck on that opinion. Hint, hint. I'll skip over to Josh. Oh, Alex is there. Hello, Alex. How are you
Hello,
doing?
Doug.
And
Hello, Brian, William, Josh. If you're there, you can, I see he's coming back in.
do you have any topics today, Alex?
I do, but I'll wait until till you finish with Josh or whatever he was planning because mine's already resolved.
Okay.
What did Josh break this time?
Oh, it's in the list of topics if you didn't know it.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, you'll find out when we get to start.
If I open back up, it'll echo, so I'll just wait.
No, just wait. We haven't really gone over it yet. Well, reading if you read the topics in the description under the video, that's not going to echo. You can do that without unmuting the YouTube video. William Dawson, hello. How are you?
Okay.
Did you have any topics to bring to us today?
No, I was just interested in listening on the topic 7.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in and joining us. And let's see, Chris Garrett, we already talked, didn't we? Yeah.
I didn't have nothing.
You're down on the bottom row now because your video's off. All right. Then there's Josh. Hello, Josh. You're muted, Josh. So, all right.
Hi, Doug. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Okay. So, how about we go ahead and move into your question? You sent let me bring people up to speed. You sent me an email this morning at 9:10 a.m. my time, so that's just a little over 2 hours ago. And let's see, I can actually bring this up on screen because it doesn't give away your email address. And you say, I've been trying to get some photos off of my backup drive at the group home to use on my computer at my aunt's house. I have the Macrium backup show in this computer. I go to the backup and go to the user in Windows. I tell it to open it, and this is what I get on the computer. Do you know how to get into my user account on my computer with that backup? Please, thank you, your friend Josh. Now, I'll go click on that photo. And in the background here, we can see that you've done a double click apparently on the Josh Robert Kinder folder. You're getting a message, you've been denied permission to access this folder. No, that's not that has a yellow exclamation mark, so I misread that. It doesn't say you've been denied permission to access this folder. What it says, if you read carefully with the yellow black exclamation mark on the yellow triangle, what it actually says here, you have been denied permission to access this folder.
Doug, I actually do know how to solve this issue.
I will turn over to you in a minute. Let me finish catching people up. Up here on the top, we see this PC, Macrium Reflect image F:, and users, which gives me the impression that he's probably mounted a backup image in order to access it. So I'm going to come back over to Zoom, and Alex, take it away.
When you go to your image on your external hard drive or wherever you got it saved, Josh, and you double click on that image, the Macrium Reflect image, there's a box that comes up and it asks you what partitions on the image you want to mount. Of course, you want to mount the C drive, but at the bottom there's 2 options that's not automatically checked, and one of those options says enable access to restricted folders. If you do not check that box, you cannot access the user directory because it's private data. But if you check that box, you can access it. And it's not checked by default. So whenever you go to mount an image, you have to make sure you check that box.
Well, what may make more of them to check that by default?
Not in my mind, no, because you may want to mount an image. There may be certain circumstances where you want to mount an image, but you don't want people having access to your private photos or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't even see that.
it's kind of small print at the very bottom, so you kind of got to be looking for it or know it's there.
Yeah, I didn't even see that in there.
All right, Josh, can we give you let you go pursue that then? Because I think that is likely the correct answer.
So I have to unmount it and then remount it.
Yep. And I'd like to move on to other topics because I think that gives
Okay.
you your answer and you can move on with that, okay?
Okay.
All right, very good. Are you going to be doing that during the show so that we can get an answer from you?
No, I was gonna do it during the show, but I can do it later. It
Okay.
doesn't matter.
Okay, very good. All right, let me come back to the chat room. Thank you, Alex. Well done. Bobby
Thank you.
Warren, William Dawson. I spoke to a neighbor who have Frontier. It's not more on that internet issue. Ran Israel. As they're both Trekkies, I'm waiting for Doug to use the for God's sake, Jim line on Jim. Okay. That one doesn't jump to front of mind for me. I had to explore my memory a little bit to pick that up. Beam me up, Scotty is more likely. Controlled folder access in Windows Defender, Wintermute. I think you're close on track there with that Baby Beast issue. Brian Lightfoot to Wintermute. I was thinking Doug has Defender turned off. It sounds as if that would be the logical source, but I've never heard of that before. I don't think that's quite the right answer, but good thinking. Closely related. From the boss, hello. Rick Lakes, no. Whatever that no is for, I don't know. Black Serendipity, Josh. Oh, that was with what's got him under the weather today. Black Serendipity, Josh, this is an example of advanced system to system security. And Brian Lightfoot has a link to Wintermute about an antivirus something or other.
I do have another comment.
There we go. Yes. Here we go. Let me come back to you here, Alex. Controlled folder access. You're on the right track there, I think. Now, coming back to you, Alex. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Doug, I'm unsure if you're aware of this or not, but the company that makes Macrium Reflect no longer offers the free version available for download. So if you need to download the free version, the only way you can get it is through other means, like Major Geeks has it about the latest version of the free version of Macrium Reflect available for download, but you can no longer access it to the main company's website.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Just FYI.
I am aware of that, and I'm aware of that because I heard you talking about it on Ken's show.
I was wondering, but I thought since you own a license of Macrium Reflect, you may keep up with stuff like that.
Well, no, if I own a license of Macrium Reflect, why would I care about the free?
So at some point, if Windows decides to change stuff and make the free version not work, I may end up paying like whatever $65 or whatever it is to get the paid for version, just a single license, just so I can get the just so I can make the USB bootable or rescue or whatever.
Now, let me correct something. You said you're aware that I own a license. That's not true. That's actually not true. I don't own a license. I own 4 licenses for my own use. You've heard me occasionally talk about putting Macrium Reflect on client computers with a free license. I also put on my client computers with a paid license. Doug, how do you distinguish when you use a paid license and when you use a free license? Well, if it's if it's a purpose that is not important enough to pay for a license, then I put the free version. If it's a purpose that's important enough to my client or me to pay for the license, then I pay for it. I have 4 licenses myself, and I use it on 4 of my own computers. It was separate licenses, and that's a little bit overkill. I probably.
Doug, let me ask you a stupid question. For your personal use, why can't you just buy 1 license and then make that rescue USB, and then whenever you want to back up a computer, just use a 1 rescue USB? Because wouldn't that work whether you was backing up 1 computer or 4 computers, regardless of how many licenses of the actual paid software you had?
Yes, if you're booting the computer off of the USB certainly could. And actually, I boot my clients' computers off of USB here and make a backup for it. But I have my computers backing up like pretty much every night. I want to be able to restore to yesterday. And it also gives me the capability for it to send me email messages of completed backups with the paid version. Let's see what other things on the paid, but mostly the first level thing is that I am in the computer business as my life's bread and butter. I appreciate Macrium Reflect for the free product that they've been giving away for a long time, and I've benefited from that, and I just want to support them. And compared to the money that I make in my business, it's not that big of a deal. So it's just me trying to kind of balance out the scales a little bit for all the people that have been getting a free ride from them.
Now what I'm wondering is how long will the free version, for those of us that still have a copy of it, saved somewhere, how long will it continue to work? Or will it work until Microsoft decides to majorly change something?
Well, there is a major change coming up, and I think that's gonna crash the free versions of Macrium Reflect. There's some major change coming up having to do with that's going to mess up all the bootable media that we have out there. I'm forgetting what that change is coming up, but I think it's still a ways off, about a year or so. Somebody's got to remember what I'm talking about here, because
yes, it's the files register of it.
Yeah,
the way they save the Windows on the drive itself.
Yeah.
We were talking about that on Ken's the other night, and Jeff was pointing out that he thinks it has something to do with the EFI partition on the certain drive, but he may not be 100% right on this. But the way he was talking, I thought that the way he was talking about it, he made it seem like whenever they changed the EFI partition or whatever, you could just remake the Macrium Reflect from the existing free version of the software I got on my computer, because it uses part of the EFI partition that you've already got installed. It uses part of the firewalls that you already have installed from the program on your computer to make the USB rescue disk. So as long as you have the existing copy of whatever software, you could just remake the USB after Microsoft makes their changes. That's the way I understood what he was trying to say a couple of nights ago.
I suspect that's true, because, and in particular because Macrium Reflect is operating system independent. You could be using that to back up any operating system. So, but then restoring is and the USB is the thing that was a question mark in my mind. But I think you're probably right with that.
Or will those of us that have the free version finally have to pay up the 60 or whatever it is amount of money to buy at least one paid for license?
And that's possible. And I've contemplated that on behalf of my clients, and the ones that I have out there using a free version. By the way, they have allowed a free version for commercial purposes. So, but my clients' computers out there that I justify the free version currently, would I want to have them pay for that on those computers? It's not really a hard sell, but here's the sell. If Alex, you're my client. William, you're my client. Brian, you're my client. Josh, and I tell you that I've had this free version of Macrium Reflect on your computer, and there was one instance 3 years ago where one of your computers crashed, and I was able to recover it very quickly with very minimal downtime for you, because I had that on there. Do you are you okay with me spending $35 per computer, $60 per computer, whatever it is, or buying a group of licenses to have that coverage on every one of them? If I didn't have that installed there, you would have probably paid me 4 or 5 hours worth of time to rebuild that computer from scratch. And some of you are thinking, what? It takes Doug 4 or 5 hours to reinstall Windows from scratch? No. You got to reinstall from scratch and then do all their networking, all their printers, all their software installs, all the configurations that they need. It's not just wipe and reload Windows with my clients. So now some of my clients have never had that experience themselves. I've never recovered one of their computers, so I could tell them the story about other clients of mine where we've had that happen. Or I could just not address the issue, and when their computer crashes, I earn the 5 or 6 hours of fees. Why, Doug, why wouldn't you just do that? That makes you more money. Well, yeah, but it causes emergency conditions. I don't like emergency conditions too much.
Business wants to recover, get back up yesterday when they go down.
Yeah, really, it's when I explain that scenario about approaching my clients and ask them, I actually would not do that. My relationship with my clients is such is that if I choose to do it, if I think it's the right thing for them, I'll just do it and charge them for it. It's not a conversation. It's not a conversation I need to have with them. If I have a question with a conversation with my client about spending $60, they're more likely going to say, why are you wasting my time for a $60 conversation? My relationship with my clients is on that level. I am, what is it? CIO? Chief
Technology Officer.
CTO. Something. Chief Technology Officer. I just make the decisions and do it. I don't ask them.
So you have your own card for every business with your name on it and all that kind of stuff?
No, I use their credit cards. They give me all their credit card information for the ones that I use their credit cards. Yeah, no, I don't have the cards, but I will charge on them, and I'll send them an email. Hey, I charged XYZ to your card. All right, let me go catch up with chat. And then we'll go turn to Baby Beast and the issue over there.
You'll find Josh has his hand raised.
Oh. Who has hand raised?
Josh.
Oh, yeah. Josh, you have your hand raised on Zoom. Was that intentional?
Yeah, I know. Do you think I need to buy the full copy of Macrium Reflect, or do you think I'm okay?
No, I think you're okay.
Okay.
All right, coming back to chat. Brian, let's see, that's that link I already looked at. Rand Israel, whatever happened to Josh's NVMe drive from the malfunctioning mini PC? Well, he was going to send that to me, and it has not arrived yet. I think there's been some complication in sending it. Where Rick Lakes, when Josh asked if they would have that on default, no, they wouldn't. Agreed. So one of the Dougs does not have a license from Black Serendipity about my Macrium Reflect comment. Controlled folder access. Let's see, this is another one from Brian. Allow an app to access controlled folders. Okay, we'll come up to that shortly here. The UEFI certificate updates. The UEFI certificate updates. Okay, that's the change that I guess that Windows is coming up to. Greg M., if you buy Macrium Reflect in 2023, it's a perpetual license in 2024. Going forward, Macrium Reflect paid as an annual subscription. Oh, interesting. Single license is $70, according to Ken. Is this annual or lifetime? Now, the lifetime licenses might be for that version. There may be a limit to how much they'll update that. Guidance related to secure boot manager changes associated with that CVE number. Let's look, scanning through here quickly about the date. protected against this attack. I will read up on that later after the stream, most likely. Hello's there, and I am caught up. All right, now let's get over to Baby Beast. I'm going to turn on the Baby Beast camera. There. So there's the Baby Beast camera over there. Talk to the hand. And over here is Big Beast build. Talk to the hand. Now, if I punch over here to Baby Beast, and then if I make the picture-in-picture do show zoom, and if I pin the Baby Beast, now, yeah, that kind of gives a picture-in-picture while I'm turned over here to Baby Beast. And where do I want to go? Oh, if I come down here to notifications, oh, what's going on? Notifications isn't, where's the notifications panel? All right, I better take this off for a moment. That's interesting. I had noticed that. Remember, this is Windows 11 over here. That notifications window was open, was a clickable icon was available down here in the bottom right corner. Apparently, that doesn't stay there. So if I come in here to notifications, that should get me into it. Let's drag this down. And that is showing right. How do I even get to the outstanding notifications? Something so simple. Well, okay, here's the protection history, which gets us to, rather than showing it on the notifications panel and see it here, protection history, filter blocked folder access. Your administrator has blocked this action, app or process block, srtasks.exe, protected folder, device hard disk, volume 6, blocked by controlled folder access. And that's one of those articles that Brian came up with. And here you can see it, how frequently this has been happening. And the part about user error, it's because I think that in the not too distant past, I turned on an extra level of protection in here. And where was that at? Real-time protection, cloud deliver, it's controlled folder access, I think is what I did. Yeah, it's controlled folder access, I think, is off by default, right?
Yes, it is.
It is off by default. So that's what's going on. So I think that's what's going on. So whatever this thing that is complaining is something that is apparent, probably routine, that is needed to happen, but now it's blocked and I need to go allow that app through. So here I'm going to try this block history. Now I'm just exploring this. This is live real-time learning for me. Protected memory access blocked. If I click on that, here's where I see, yes, that is this SR tasks. And here's actions. I can allow it on this device. But shouldn't I investigate what that is first? How do I know that that's not some nasty? I'm suspecting that that's probably an okay thing to have happen, and I have not searched for it yet. So if I do highlight that, I do a Control-C for copy, and then I'll come over here to browser. Oh, I should come back and mention Darknet Diaries. It's not on my list of topics, but I was listening to one of their shows this morning.
the controlled folder access is used for, like, if you want to block, if you get a ransomware, it blocks the ransomware from infecting all your pictures and documents and stuff.
Yeah. So it's to block a nasty from doing something bad. But is this SR task actually something nasty, or is it okay, and should I allow it? So that's what I want to go to. And that controlled folder access, I think, is off by default because there are some normal things that ought to be allowed that would be throwing up red flags like this. So it has not been enabled by default, I would deduce. What is SR tasks? System restore. Oh, SR, system restore. Okay. Oh, all right. Well, and tasks. All right. That's interesting, because something that I routinely do is I re-enable the automatic backup of the registry, which Windows 10 and all their infinite wisdom disabled from beginning with, I think it's Windows 10 version 1709 or 1703, way back long in history. They disabled that. Well, I re-enable that routinely on computers, but Microsoft doesn't expect that. So I'm suspecting that's why I'm having this trouble with it, and Microsoft didn't
because
account for that.
Because if you have that on, by default, it blocks every folder unless you whitelist it in there. So my thinking is you have to whitelist the folder that it saves system restore stuff to, and you'll stop getting that error. That's just my thoughts.
Well, I'm thinking that if I authorize SR tasks to be allowed to do what it's trying to do, that's I think all that I need to do. But you could be right. I'm going to start with just allowing this system restore task, because that makes total sense, and I know why and how that came about.
Yeah, under that link that I posted, Doug, when you go into controlled folder access, there's a manage controlled folder access, the management. And there you can turn it on and off, and somewhere in there you can list an app that you want to have access. I'm surprised that Windows, when you enable your backup, I'm surprised that Windows wouldn't automatically go and list that. Apparently somebody forgot that.
Well, I suspect that was more intentional, because Microsoft had declared and determined that registry backups are no longer a default setting, so they want to block anything trying to perform that function, because they don't know who's trying to perform that function. How about some malware that's trying to disguise itself as srtasks.exe? And so I would think they're right to not presume or prepare for the possibility that somebody has re-enabled that function. I'm okay with them not preparing for that. Now, I am in this area that you referred to as manage controlled folder access. That's where I'm working here. When I look at the block history, it's very convenient in my mind that I can click on one of these, answer yes, and then just go to actions and say allow on this device, and see if that doesn't just solve the problem. Now here's controlled folder access settings, which just brings me right back to here. All right, so I have allowed that app. Is there a place where I can see what apps have been allowed? Allow an app through. Does this get me to a list? Yeah, so this is the only one that I have allowed. And I could remove it here if I so chose.
Well, you can also take the sledgehammer approach and just turn off controlled folder access.
Sure, I can, but I wanted to experience what is that like, because I'm always considering is this something that I should be enabling on my client computers in order for them to have them protected better?
Yeah, you got to test all this stuff for your clients, stuff that we normally wouldn't think of enabling or doing on our normal home computers that only us use.
Yeah, exactly. Before I'm gonna give them that dog food, I need to eat it for a while. Colorful.
That's what I do on my mom's computer. That's the reason why. If I'm going to upgrade to Windows 11, I always do major feature upgrades and stuff like that on my computer first before I do it on hers.
Yeah. All right. Catching up with chat. Ian McLeod, hello to you. Ran Israel has a quote. This may be a dumb question, but here goes. What if secure boot is disabled? Does any of this apply? Yes, it does, because secure boot is independent of controlled folder access. Security is multi-layered. If you disable one layer, that doesn't mean the other layers are automatically invalid. Some layers of security may be dependent on another layer, but secure boot, I'm sure, would be independent of controlled folder access. Let's see, Ken Stout back shortly on support call with the dreaded Apple. Okay, I didn't realize that Apple, when they have trouble with their systems, they call Ken Stout for help. Did not know.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's just Ken's ongoing saga with his phone and his iCloud trying to get his videos and pictures and all that to sync properly. You know, Ken's stuff has Ghost in it.
Yeah, there was a video, a live stream that we did on this channel called Ken Stout's Computers Have Ghosts, something like that. That's where we ran into that. Does this guy know what he's doing? Seems confused. Comment.
Josh, you have something to say?
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
I was wondering when Microsoft went back to MPFF, will they automatically convert us over to the new format if there is going to be one? Or will we as the user have to do it?
When Microsoft converts to what?
For example, when Microsoft went from MPF, or when Microsoft went back to MPFF, they had a program built into Windows that convert back over to MPFF. My thinking would be that they would have to put another program in Windows that convert MPFF over to the new format. Because the user, whether it be me or Doug or anyone, the businesses, they're not going to know how to convert over to the new format. Doug's going to have to go in and do it for them.
I believe Microsoft's already taken care of that. They're probably downloading software in the background under updates that's paving the way.
Yeah, it's no different than when they converted from MBR, master boot record, over to GPT partition. They just redid the installation media, automatically do it. So when you reinstalled, you would get it automatically.
Yeah, but they never automatically converted an existing drive to a newer format, and I'm sure they wouldn't.
So we as the end user won't have to do anything. They'll do it all automatically?
No, they will not do it automatically. They will not do it automatically to an existing computer. It would be automatic when you do a wipe and reload, a brand new install, but they're not going to convert the file format on your existing functional computer. And to my knowledge, they never have. It sounds like you think they did.
As far as I'm concerned, right now, this is all rumors anyway, so we're worried over milk that hasn't been spilled.
As far as you're concerned, what? What was the rest of that?
This is just a bunch of rumors and stuff.
Oh
anyway.
yeah. But no, they never have automatically converted the file format on a drive to a newer version for an existing drive. They changed the default for a fresh install, sure. So I think my impression there, Josh, was you thought that they did automatically convert from MBR to NTFS on an existing computer. I never experienced that, and I would be violently opposed to it. Well, not really violent, because I'm not a violent person, but anyway. All right, coming back to chat. Whitelist the process SR tasks. Well, when I told it to allow that app, that should have automatically done that. And perhaps that comment was prior to when I did that. Wintermute, are you thinking that there's something else I need to do for that? Ran Israel, I meant secure boot in relation to the boot partition security update. Oh, okay. What if secure boot is disabled as when they implement the new boot partition security update, if secure boot is disabled, how is that going to impact that? I'd say it's too early to speculate on that or to
my
know.
comment is that if you have a Dell or an HP computer, they will automatically, Windows Update will automatically try to download a new BIOS version that will turn on secure boot permanently, so you can't disable it like some current motherboards have already done for some custom built computers.
Okay, well, if that's the case, and if a person wanted secure boot to remain off, then they're going to be interested in whatever workarounds people come up with in order to accomplish that. Is this boot partition security update supposed to force secure boot to be on and not disableable?
As far as I understand it, that'd be the only way that's just my thinking. I would think they would have to enable that and then make it non.
All right. Well, we'll see, and I'll read up about it. Like I said, I haven't read up on it yet. And then coming back here, let's see. Jeff says, "Good morning, Speedy C. To go back to notifications, left click on time and date. Oh, that makes sense. Bottom right hand corner, look above the calendar. I hope this helps Doug. Yeah, that makes total sense. So here I'm back on Baby Beast, and left click on the time and date. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
In a way, it's confusing to me though because about the notifications, because in Windows 10 by default they have the notification icon beside the clock, so you wouldn't think to click on. I don't know. Maybe it's just my thought process. I wouldn't think that you would think to click on the clock in Windows 11 without that icon, without that other icon to see the notifications.
And didn't I just demonstrate exactly that? When I was trying to find notifications, the icon wasn't there, and I did not think to click on the clock. Click on the clock. Click on the clock. That's a fun phrase.
You didn't think to type it in on the search bar either.
I thought I did. Didn't I type notifications on Windows key and then notifications? Anyway, I don't care. Yeah. We got there. But yes, thank you for that, Speedy C. That is helpful. And I suspect that I came across that before and just didn't get it locked into my head. Yes, that was helpful. Greg M. NTFS can accommodate huge volumes. Ran Israel, because MBR was 2 terabyte limit, I think it was. What new format are we talking about? And that would be from, somebody gave us a link up here.
A new format that doesn't exist yet. That's what we're talking about.
Guidance related to Secure Boot Manager changes associated with CVE. And what was this one here? No, not that one. I think this gets into that, but Again, I haven't read up on it yet, so I'm not going to try to answer more about that right now. Who says Microsoft is converting to a new file system? I'm not sure that's actually a new file system, is it? Maybe it is. I haven't read up on it. So
Yes, Josh.
It's my understanding that if you enable Secure Boot, but if you have to reinstall Windows and you make the USB flash drive, you won't be able to use the USB flash drive unless they update the immediate creation tool to bypass that Secure Boot, which would mean that would be completely useless to have Secure Boot enabled.
I don't think that's the case, and I haven't tested it yet. But I think what the Secure Boot enabled, and please correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I think what Secure Boot is doing is it's preventing any modifications to any of your boot files in relation to booting your Windows. Now,
Yes.
if there's a case where that does prevent you from booting on a USB drive, then I think all you have to do is go into BIOS and disable Secure Boot so that you can boot from the USB. But I don't think you have to do that. I think with Secure Boot on, you can still boot from a USB. Do we agree on that?
If you're installing Linux, there are some versions of Linux that do not work, that do not boot if you're you cannot install if you have Secure Boot on, but some major versions of Linux do have support for Secure Boot.
All right. Is there any other comments from Zoom on that? Okay, going back to chat room. No, that comment was from before you did it. Oh, okay, yeah, when he told me how to get to it. His comment was before I found how to do that. All right. You, Greg M., you're going to have a huge number of corp client upset if it's automatic. That's true. That's why I don't believe they're going to do it. And that's change of formats have never been automatic.
We're back in the olden days when people were getting computed with Windows 8, original Windows 8, you had to and people wanted to downgrade to Windows 7, you had to disable Secure Boot to install Windows 7.
Oh. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess that would make sense that you would. All right. Well, we're not in the olden days. Yeah.
Because Windows 7, of course, did not support Secure Boot.
Right. Okay, back to chat. Wintermeat Turan, I think he's conflating the Secure Boot issues with rumors of Windows 12 implementing REFS, Resilient File System. Is that the new file system? Resilient File System? Again, and let's not try to absorb. I'm not going to try to absorb all that now. I want to read up on it first. Rand Israel, as far as I can tell, the new update is a replacement of the boot files on FAT32 EFI system partition. There are no file system modifications. That's more consistent. I wasn't aware that there was going to be we're still going to be using NTFS, are we not? They're not replacing that, are they? What?
I just think they're going to change basic Windows and files in Windows, not the whole hard drive file system, or bias background. It'd be too many people and too much confusion and trying to change all the different bias and the way people have their machines set up.
Well, okay. So here's Greg with a comment about EFI boot partition as a FAT32 formatted. Is that all they're doing? Is making some kind of change to that EFI boot partition? That would make sense that would cause some bootable USB devices to no longer work, that they need to be recreated. And it would make sense that something about that is going to provide better security. Rick Lakes, we have a fire somewhere in Baxter. 4th fire truck just left the fire hall. Black Serendipity, Windows 7 is olden days. Yes, Black Serendipity. I was thinking the same thing. I'm guessing that maybe Brian, maybe William were thinking the same thing when, was it Alex or Josh? One of them referring to the olden days of
I was
Windows 7.
thinking Windows 3.1.
Yeah. How about DOS 2.2?
Oh,
IBM PC DOS.
You do have to remember Windows 7 was released in 2009, which was over which is now over 10 years ago.
Over 10 years ago, in the olden days.
the olden days.
Well, that was 3 days ago to some of us, Alex.
Yeah, I know, believe me, I'm
Yeah.
around more older people than I am people my age,
All
even
right.
physically in real life.
Hello, Gary Weisenberger.
Hello, everybody.
Nice to have you. Do you have anything to bring to the table today?
No, just half of us have been working longer than Alex has been alive.
Yeah. Speedy C says, "You're welcome, Doug. I'm help to help. He probably meant I'm here to help with your calendar problem. At least I've been useful for once in this community. I am giving an answer to a problem." Yes, very good. Thank you. Ran Israel, some boot files will be updated. The file system will remain as is. There it is. That makes a whole lot better sense. There's nothing wrong with NTFS. It's working fine. Why would they need to change that? Please don't.
20 years from now, I'll be able to say that, hopefully, but I don't know if you'll still be doing your Windows Daily stuff, Doug, 20 years from now.
Yeah, 20 years from now. 85. It is possible. It's possible. I've had friends of mine still flying their airplanes into their 90s. It depends upon where my interests are at. I'm hard pressed to imagine that I would lose interest in the new stuff coming along. And 20 years from now, I don't think we're going to be dealing with NTFS. We might be dealing with implants. It may be a very, very different world.
We already are dealing with REFS since Server 2022.
REFS?
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Reliant File System.
Reliant File System.
Yeah, it's already. They're talking about the Winter Post is coming to Windows 12. It's already in Windows Server.
Yeah.
So, it's already proven. So it's nothing new.
Oh, sure. Not at all surprising. There are already more advanced file systems than what we're using.
Well, NT had NTSF before Windows 10.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. Well, when I let's see, back in the days of using DOS and Windows 3.11, and then there was Windows NT, referring to new technology, and that was for server operating systems of sorts. And I had some exposure to that.
Actually, the first IBM, we actually got a IBM PC in 1983, and it would not support double-sided drives. The DOS would not support it.
Oh.
And it would not support hard drives.
And what version of DOS was that?
I don't remember, 1.2 something.
Okay.
1.21.
Yeah. In the olden days.
Yeah, so when Alex says olden, that was what, 10 years before he was born, at least?
Here's Ryan. Says, "Good day, Black Serendipity. Watch it, Doug. SSI is more olden days." Social Security income was he referring to there? Resilient NTFS was introduced in 1993 with Windows NT 3.1. There you go. That's the better word for it. Windows NT 3.1.
Some things haven't changed because my college had a gig internet connection 10 years ago when I first started, or about 10 years ago when I first started going to college, and I'm just now getting the same connection. So I think it'll be a while before we get off of have to have more than a gig connection, at least for residential normal people use.
Alex, you can always have it. You just have to pay for it.
Yeah, they were paying a lot more for it back then. than what it
Yeah,
costs
fractional
now.
T1s were coming.
All right, coming back. Just curious, what has everyone thought on Windows 12, when it will come out? In the future, not in the past. That's all I have to say about that.
For what it's worth, they did not announce it at Build.
All right.
And they usually give hints, but there was no hints. So take it for what you will.
And I will send you a check for what it's worth.
You mean CES, the Consumer Electronics Show?
No, I mean Microsoft Build, which was for all the developers.
And it's just Microsoft. CES is much broader than Microsoft. Greg Guy. Greg Guy, I'm here. You can start the show. Good afternoon, Doug and chat. My first computer with Windows 3.1 was 486. Cost a little under $3,000. There was a day when Simple Printer cost the company $10,000. Yes, indeed. Cutting grass. No need to spray for weeds. Now, there was another topic that was requested, that seemed to be requested pretty commonly. What was it? The unauthorized changes blocked. We did. And Josh Kinder, we looked at that. LonnDawg hasn't shown up, so we're not doing that. Was there anything else that was actually asked? No, it wasn't.
Number 3?
Number 3, explore what happens during speed tests with Wireshark and Process Monitor. Well, a little bit of twist on that. I'll bring up Wireshark here. I have it up and running. And this time I won't go through showing downloading it and installing it. And what I did in a little bit of preparation for this is, let's go find where I have this set up. Yeah, so here in ChatGPT, I ask a question, give me a Wireshark filter to watch the IP traffic for live streaming video on YouTube. And it gave me a response. Now, before we look at that response, I'm going to show that I also tried that in perplexity.ai. Same question. I just did a copy and paste. Give me a Wireshark filter to watch the IP traffic, live streaming, yada, yada, yada. And then I also did that in Microsoft Edge over here in its rendition of chat. Same question. Give me Wireshark filter, yada, yada, yada. So they all give a little bit different, significantly different wording and a little bit different teachings in each of these. So I'll go back looking at them in that same order, starting with ChatGPT. Remember ChatGPT, its information is only through, what was it, September 2021, something like that.
Yeah.
To filter IP traffic for live stream video using Wireshark, you can use the following filter: ip.dst == YouTube IP address. Replace the YouTube IP address with the actual IP address for YouTube live streaming. However, it's important to note that YouTube uses a distributed network. Now, I'm reading through this because there's teaching in the response of each of these. It's important to note that YouTube uses a distributed network, so the IP addresses may vary depending upon your location and the specific YouTube server being used. If you don't know the exact IP address, you can try capturing the traffic first without any filter, then analyze the capture package to find the relevant IP address involved in the streaming. You can look for packets with protocols such and such and yada yada that are commonly used for streaming video. Here's a general filter that captures traffic related to video streaming protocols. So let's start with this filter. An HTTP host contains YouTube, and whoops, I hit a wrong button. Where'd it go to? Session has expired. Log in. I hit one of the side buttons on my mouse, which goes forward or backward. All right, here we go. Yeah, so I'm just going to try simply copy and paste that into the Wireshark filter. Click up here in the filter field. And it gives me red, which implies to me that something's wrong about that syntax. Copy code. If I do it there, is it going to do the same thing? Highlight over all that. Suspect it's the same thing. Control A to highlight it all. Yeah, giving me the same thing. When it's red, it's not a valid filter. I think let's, oh, when I backspace over some of that, I got green. Do that, paste again. Backspace over the space on the end. If I backspace over the word dash, now I'm hacking now. I'm just hammering and not going at this intelligently.
Oh, sorry, I'm not very useful when it comes to Wireshark. I only had to use it one time when I was for one of my college projects for my final exam.
All right, so I'm going to take a different approach. Since that didn't work, I'll go back to no filter. Oh, reprocessing all packets down at the bottom. It's working on it. I'm going to stop the capturing and restart the capturing. I think that'll get us there quicker. And then click this blue shark fin thing. Start capturing packets. There we go, finally. All these UDPs are potentials because YouTube streaming would be using a UDP. The destination is not going to be a local network address. These 192.168s are local addresses. And if I stop capturing again and go to, let's see, where's the scroll thing? Auto scroll in live capture and start capturing again. Do you want to save the current packets before starting? No, I'm going to continue without saving. There it goes. So this screen is scrolling with new packets. If I click the stop button, it's going to stop right here where I'm at so that I can scroll through these a little bit looking for some clue. The destination, like 144, is a possibility. I'm glancing down here, see if I get any clue. Going to take a look in chat, see if somebody's giving me a better filter here. No. I'm going to go back and look closer at this. Here's a general filter that captures traffic related to streaming protocols. Now, let's go over to Perplexity and get an idea what it says. To watch IP traffic for live streaming video to YouTube using Wireshark, you can use a capture filter to only capture traffic to and from YouTube's IP addresses. One way to do this is to use the IP address filter to capture traffic to and from YouTube's IP addresses. Here's an example filter. This filter captures traffic to and from YouTube's IP addresses, which are in the ranges, and it gives us the ranges of YouTube's IP addresses, so we don't have to find the specific address. So I want to try that. That starts with the parenthesis. I'm going to bring up a Microsoft Word document so we can look at that capture filter. the whole thing. So it's an IP source. Is this number or IP source that number or that number and IP destination this number or that number? The 172, isn't that the local? Yeah, 172.217.0.0, is that the local computer?
No, with 172 range, the private IP addresses are 172.16 all the way through 172.31. Anything out of that range for 172 is a public.
Yeah, well then that would mean my local network, my in-house network, if that's a private network range. Like, but rather than 192 dot something or other or 10.1 dot something, this 172 I was thinking is a special number for local.
What's the second number in the 172 address?
217.0.0. But anyway, let me go try pasting that, see if that does anything right off the bat. Now I've got green on this. Since I am live streaming currently, I'm doing this on Big Beast. If there's anything that fits that filter, should ought to be showing up. Now, one of these buttons up here is a more complex filter building capability. Where is that at?
Yeah, the 172.217, if that's the address you're referring to, that is a public address.
Okay. Looking back in chat, see if anybody's got tips on doing this. Do we have anybody knowledge about this? A public IP range, all right. Murdoch Media, 10K for their first printer. Access denied. You don't have permission to access Lowe's.com on this server. This is the error I get. Both FF and Firefox and Edge. Try a different web browser. That's conversation, I think, going back and forth between Greg and Robert. I'll let them continue that.
If there's one thing they drilled into our heads in my 4 years of networking class in college, it was the private and public IP address ranges.
Okay. And you're saying the 172.217 is a public IP. Okay. And so the implication here is when they're calling out the source, they're referring to that's communications coming from YouTube or IP source this range. So they're saying that's also a YouTube IP address. And they're implying here that YouTube's servers are in this range. Probably a class. I'm not sure if that's.
My thinking is YouTube would be the destination in this case. So the 172 may be your house public IP address.
Well, they couldn't know that my home is 172. I'll go check and see what my current public IP address is. I'm not going to display it as yet. What is my IP? Well, I guess I should be showing people how to go find this. If I type that into a Google search, I'm going to take that off screen when I hit enter there, because it very likely could just display it right on the Google search results, and yes, indeed, it does. Now, I'm going to make a note to myself what that is so that I can recognize it. Although I'm probably going to be revealing that in Wireshark. It's probably going to be viewable, but I don't think there's anybody around with enough criminal intent to actually try to do something towards me on that. Anyone that has that level of mad skills should be hacking better targets. Okay, so push the right buttons, Doug. Yeah, so mine starts with 73.
That's probably the YouTube's address.
Yeah, well, here it tells us here, doesn't it? This filter captures traffic to and from which are in the range. Yeah, here's telling us that these are YouTube's ranges. Yeah. So now it might be that these are not all of YouTube's ranges. So that filter we had earlier that finds YouTube in the filter would be of better interest. Now, I think I may have to turn on name resolution in Wireshark, because that's a setting somewhere here. Name resolution, resolve physical addresses. Physical addresses. I want to resolve IP addresses. Yeah, these columns right in here can be configured to show name resolution. So name resolution, resolve transport addresses.
Physical addresses will be referring to the MAC addresses of all of your devices.
Right. And devices on the other ends of the communication. There's some way to change the IP addresses in this column to display their resolved names, so that they would actually show the URLs rather than the IP addresses. Name resolutions. If I remove all of these check marks, now we have all IP addresses in these two columns. Go back and put these check marks on again. I didn't recognize any changes from that. Here's got some changes. See, here's a .NET address. Scrolling more quickly up and down, trying to spot something of interest. It shows something other than this weird NUQ. Now, it could be that this, since there's so much of this NUQ stuff, that might be YouTube. There's should be lots of activity in here regarding this YouTube stream.
His destination device is probably the computer you're using at the 181 address.
Well, each of these packets, these are all packets going either out or in. And a packet that's coming into me, then I would be the destination. A packet being sent from my computer out, the other computer would be the destination. Now, these are local IP addresses, so I'm suspecting that Big Beast build is .181. So if I go to command prompt, ipconfig, there it is, 192.168.1.181. That's this address right here. Now, this Wireshark is running on Big Beast build. It's not seeing any traffic other than Big Beast build. It's not able to see Baby Beast traffic because with a network switch, the traffic that's going through the Ethernet cable to this computer is only traffic intended for this address. So everything in here should have the .181 on one side. So this would be traffic that's coming into me. This is traffic that's going out. Now, if I come back to, let's see, I'm going to take this off screen for a moment while I bring up my paste buffer. Yeah, there's nothing in this paste buffer. Sometimes might have passwords in there. Here's IP source. So if I take this IP source and edit down this filter to just be this computer's IP address, then I should see how that functions. There's a parenthesis at the end, so I'm going to close that with a parenthesis and put in the IP address for my computer. 192.168.1.181, and it's green. Press enter and see, now I should only have entries here where .181 is the source. So these are all communications going out from this computer. Here's a lot of stuff for macromedia.fcs. The length column may give me clue. That's showing the length of each of these packets. There's a lot of them in
they're using.
Say again?
And the port that is using 44.
You're right.
443 is using opening port 443 on the transmission where coming in.
Oh, up here. Yeah, HTTPS port 443. And that is UDP, which is what streaming would be using. UDP has a characteristic of, if there's packets that don't come through correctly, they're just dropped. They're not requested to resend. And that's commonplace for video going forward and backward, because if it drops a packet, it's too late. The video's already moved past that. And the TCP traffic gets, like down here is a TCP packet. It sends the packet and waits for an acknowledgement, and so it's a more accurate transaction, but it's not good for video streaming. Now this destination here, I want to edit resolved name. So it looks like I can put in a name for that. If I, for instance, claim that if I'm telling it that I think that's YouTube, and I click OK, then I think all of those that have that address are going to display YouTube. Yeah, here they are, displaying YouTube. Now, I don't know that that is YouTube. Decode as, let's see, edit resolve name. So I'm going to take that out since I have not verified that that is YouTube. Now we could perhaps find, and there's various ways I think we could find out. Let's try, if I do a simple ping, what does that tell me? Ping 144.195.195.113, or trace route.
Yeah, trace route.
Yeah, trace route is more what I should have done, because this address obviously is not, it has ping responses turned off. So
no, more than likely, probably.
Trace RT, right?
Yes.
144.195.195.113. So this will show all the hops that this takes to get to that destination and how much time is occupied in each of those hops. Have I totally lost the
no
people in chat?
We're still here.
Okay, Wintermute says 172.217 is Google. Well, yeah, but YouTube's owned by Google, so it might be registered to Google, but could be YouTube. I didn't read the end you already have. Let's see. Oh, that was them talking about browser address for Lowe's, I think. They have an and in that filter, so both have to be true. Yeah, I saw that. That seemed odd to me that they would have and. They're using the same address of source and destination. I suppose it's to cover both Stream 2 and YouTube. Yeah, I think that's for both going in and out. Try HTTPS instead of HTTP. Should not make a difference, but who knows what your ISP is doing. Shouldn't that and in the filter be an or? Possibly. You want to see traffic coming from or going to YouTube IP addresses. Ken Stout saying hello. He's not in Zoom.
I know that Google Chrome complains if you try to go to just a normal HTTP website anymore, you can't.
Yeah.
Because I've had those issues on multiple occasions with my own website.
Actually, with the HTTP Lowe's, I tried it too, and I got a DNS error. So whoever you're getting your DNS from, same here. Is I tried a different server for DNS, it works. Yeah. So it looks like Cloudflare is who I'm using, and they don't have Lowe's.
You're probably using Comcast DNS, Doug.
You're talking about the Lowe's issue now, right?
Yeah, I tried it in DNS. It says it's not in the DNS server. And I tried a different server, and it worked. So somebody probably screwed it up somewhere.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna divert too much there, but I'll just show here. It appears to be working for me.
Just type it in. See, you're probably not using one. Anyway, I made a comment in chat. I'm getting your stream from YouTube from Google Chicago.
Okay.
Just FYI.
All right. Which is my impression all about when different people watching YouTube, some might be getting buffering, others not. The ones that are getting buffering might be going through a location in the country, such as your case, Chicago, and that one might be overstressed currently when that's happening.
I have watched 2 live streams at the same time and got buffering on one from a different city and not buffering on another, and both in 1080p. So, like you said, it's a server.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh, I guess this is your comment right here that I have highlighted. I'm getting YouTube stream from .195, which is Chicago, and that's a 172. All right. 172 is the address that was being claimed as being YouTube. Now, am I seeing anything in my Wireshark for 172? I should be considering both the numbers that they were saying, 172 or 216. So
actually, 144 is Zoom.
All right.
Not YouTube.
Well, that makes sense because I am using Zoom. 172, 216, or 208. 172, 216, or 208. But I've got the name resolution turned on right now, so I'm not seeing all the IP addresses.
I've been going through a lot of that lately, the buffering on one and not on another kind of thing, because my mom's been complaining about, like, there's certain websites she goes to that it'll cause buffering, and everybody else on Kinsland is convinced that it's the website she's trying to go to.
Oh, so this is it. Wait a minute, come on, where is it? Oh, it's down here now, 172. Yeah, I am getting 172s. So that would be YouTube, and this, when I activate this filter. I'm not getting any results. And the question about ands or ors, there's an or right here. There's an or here. There's an and here, and or and or. So I think what it's doing here on these ors is it's picking up the different YouTube ranges as the source and destination as being one of these. So yeah, they're saying with this and here, they're saying that the source and the destination is YouTube addresses. That ain't right. They've got parentheses to group these, so I think I should just be able to put in an or here, and that would get both sides. That should get both sides of the transmissions being YouTube. Yeah, that makes sense. So here's 172s as a destination, 172 as a source. So which of those AIs got it wrong? I think that was ChatGPT that I pulled that from, wasn't it? Here. Let's see. This now that had the host of YouTube. It was Perplexity. Yeah, it was Perplexity that got that wrong. And then what did Edge ChatGPT say? To watch IP address for live streaming, IP address 216 and port 1935. So that was wrong because I'm not using 216 for YouTube, and 216 was one of the possibilities. So the Edge implementation of ChatGPT did not get us the right answer. So strike 3. All 3 of them didn't get me quite the right thing. Now, so here let's look at what is going on. These time indexes in the left-hand column showing today's date and the time of this capture. I've stopped the capturing, so it's not capturing anymore. We're looking at a limited number of results here, limited number of packets. We have only 14,000 packets that came in over a few seconds worth of time that I had it capturing. So here's the top at 12, 13, and 17. So 12 is the hour, 13 is the minute, 17 is the second. 12, 13, 17, and I ended at 12, 13, 25. So these 14,000 packets were less than second number 25, 17. So this is 8 seconds worth. 14,000 packets of YouTube communications, not 14,000 packets of my computer doing stuff over the internet. This does not include Zoom. This is only communications back and forth between my computer and YouTube over, what did I say, 8 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And each one of these packets is UDP protocol. It's not getting confirmation. This one was 1,283 bytes. I believe that's bytes rather than bits. Yeah, down here, 1,283 bytes captured. And that's 10,264 bits. So, say, pronounce 10101010 10,264 times, and that's the communication that took place between my computer and YouTube during this decimal portion of the 17th second. Now, this next item is later in the same 17th second, and then later, and then later. So there's all these communications going back and forth, being sent one direction. I shouldn't say back and forth. These are being sent from my computer to YouTube. All of these right here. Oh, let's see, that tells me selected 9. I've selected 9 items there. all of these communications. There's 1283 bytes, 1292 bytes, 1049 bytes. And my computer just blurted all that out, sent it to YouTube. And then YouTube sent back these four. Now, why did it send it back? Is that regarding the stream that I'm sending? No, I suspect that's because I have this video, today's live stream. Actually, well, I have this one playing, and I have this one playing, my actual video. So the UDP coming from YouTube to me should be my viewing of video. I don't think YouTube is it might be sending me some communications about the stream. I'm not sure. I don't know about that. But anyway, look at how much smaller these are. 77 bytes, 77, 69, 77. And then here's traffic going from me to YouTube. And then coming in. And this is all of this stuff in the 17 second. By the way, this isn't starting at the beginning of the 17 second. This is 0.22. This is 2/10 into that second. Come down here, I'll shift click on the last of the 17th second, and that turns out to be 81 packets. But let's start brand new, fresh in the 18th second. And so happens it starts at decimal 22. So 2/10 into that second before anything's happening in the 18th second. And there's not so much going on there. That's really short. Much fewer. So as I am streaming to YouTube, my computer will send out a bunch of stuff, but it's not necessarily sending this similar quantity every second because it can be a little faster or slower. There's a little bit of lag, the latency on my live streams. That kind of gives it some buffer. Now then another thing we can see is if I right click on the network icon in the bottom right corner, open network internet settings, and I'll go to change. I want to get to this because this is the place I'm real familiar with bringing up the status. Here we're seeing the number of bytes sent and received in total through my Ethernet adapter. Let's see, what other information we got here? UDP, 1283 is the length. Info, let's see. Oh, down here, it gives me a better spelling out down here. Frame number 2245. The next frame, I think, is going to increment up one from that. Yes, 2246. The next frame will be 2247. So these packets get sent out through the internet. They could potentially take a different route to get to their destination. When they get to the destination is going to look at these packet numbers and it's going to assemble them in that order because the packets are being sent out self-identified as what order they were being sent. Makes sense because when you're sending video, you want to be seeing those video frames in the right order. All right, let me go to chat and see.
I believe that's the case with all UDP traffic because
Yeah.
all of UDP traffic is like videos, video calls,
right.
Voice calls, real-time stuff.
Well, it's true with TCP traffic. Also, I think it's true with any internet traffic. I think they all have a packet ID number, so they can be assembled in proper order. Let's see, Apple support. While I pause the stream, I'm trying to catch up in chat. Sorry, what is the Apple support? Kinsdow, that would be approaching an hour for the third time today and no relief in sight. You need to get an Android phone, talking about your phone. Zavi Manor, what is my IP address? Go click on that, see what that's showing up. Just showing another way to see it. It gives more information. And let's see, host name 414. Let's see, that's seeing if he actually nailed my. No, he didn't. Oh,
No.
I think perhaps what he did is pulled up one of the IP addresses that are showing up in Wireshark. I don't think yet I've revealed my public IP address.
No, you're revealing internals.
Say again?
You're revealing internals.
Yeah, return internal IP address.
Your
my router would be converting that when that packet reaches my router, it sends that out to the destination address using my public IP address, so the other end can send it back to my public IP address, and my router is responsible to get that to my computer. The destination, I don't think they ever see that my computer is at a local address of .181.
No, because private IP addresses are not, like 192 is not routable. So that's the reason why you need a
Right.
public.
Right. But since Wireshark is not seeing the traffic that my router is actually sending out over the internet, it's not able to show me what that address is.
Hey, Doug?
Yeah.
Do you have a second to go to your network properties? I want to diagnose your Ethernet card for a second.
All right.
If you could. I have a problem on 2 Windows machines at the house right now. Or a feature I have a feeling.
So what, network troubleshooter? Or you want to go to the actual?
No, well, try that if you want. So I think they started doing some stuff with troubleshooters.
Okay, let's see. Select the network adapter to diagnose. Now I'm wondering if I do this, is it going to?
Is this Windows 11?
No, this is Windows 10. I have Windows 11 on Baby Beast.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm Windows 11 on Baby Beast. That's why.
All right. That's kind of. Oh, I didn't even have that up on screen, did I?
Sorry about that.
Quite all right. And I was a little concerned about diagnosing the Ethernet adapter while I'm live streaming. Would diagnosing take it?
Actually, it's not. Excuse me. I didn't mean diagnose. I actually meant status of the adapter.
Okay.
Yeah. I did say diagnose. My mistake.
Yeah. So here's Ethernet and with.
But I'm looking at Windows 11 now. So.
Okay. Well, let's see. I'm showing this now over the stream. So let's see if I go back and I go to show the picture-in-picture properly here by.
I'm using Ethernet.
That, and let's see. Am I doing that right? Baby Beast. Picture-in-picture. Oh, yes, it is. I'm just not going to see it on Baby Beast. All right. So then status. Different ways to do things in Windows 11 to get to that. Do you know what I need to click on? Are you watching the stream?
Yeah, just go to Control Panel. Oh. That's the easiest way.
Oh,
Network.
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely.
I mean, I don't know MS.
Yeah. All right. And then Network and Sharing Center, and then change adapter settings, and then right-click on the adapter and status. Okay. So what do you want to see here?
Yeah, hit diagnosis. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm on a phone call too.
Troubleshooting couldn't identify a problem.
It
You want detail?
It let you diagnose?
Say again?
It let you diagnose.
Yeah. It went through it very quickly.
Okay.
Go back and do it again. So you're having trouble with even running the diagnosis?
Yeah, the minute you hit it, it says support is not there on 2 different machines. What is your latest update? Do you know?
I'll check with Winver.
Because there was an update Thursday.
Here's the build number .1702. I'll go look at updates.
I'm 22/6/21/1778.
1778. Yeah, I'm behind you. Are you on an insider's program?
Nope. Definitely not.
Okay, let's see. This says you're up to date.
This is a production machine.
Let's look at.
I'm 1778.
Can you go diagnose on Brian?
Trying it now.
Yeah, you got the 3 choices: properties, details, and diagnose on adapter.
I'm showing my last update looks like May 11th.
Yeah, I got the properties. No problems.
No, what did you do?
Works.
You did all 3 of them?
All 3 of what was that again?
Okay, go in through control panel.
I'm there.
And you got the network adapters.
Yeah, I'm there.
And you change adapter. You go to Ethernet. You're on Ethernet or Wi-Fi. Doesn't matter. And you got properties, disable, and diagnose there.
Yeah.
And if you hit diagnose, it works?
Yes.
Okay. Because I went in to look at troubleshooters, and it's telling me that they're changing troubleshooters right now, and I am not on an insider program. Just
So something amiss with those computers?
I don't know. I mean, literally just tried it. I mean, as we're talking, it's not something I wrote down.
Oh,
I went to troubleshooters on Windows 11, and I tried network audio. The only one that will run is Windows Update. The rest of them say they're in Windows Update. Troubleshooter said troubleshooters have been moved, and this tool will be retired. I don't know if you've ever used the troubleshooters in Windows.
Yeah, I have.
No, not all Windows computers get the same pop-ups, regardless of what the pop-up is at the same time. Like my mom and my computer don't always get the Windows 11 pop-up and update settings at the same time. So it may be one of them cases.
When you run the troubleshooter, down at the bottom in yellow, it says troubleshooters have moved, and this tool is being retired from Windows 11 settings.
Okay, could that be a rollout that they're rolling out that?
Yeah. But then Brian should have it too if he's on 1770, whatever I just said I was on.
Yeah.
But like I just mentioned before, it could be one of them things that Microsoft, even if you have Windows, the same version of Windows, Microsoft doesn't roll it out to every machine all at the same time.
Well, no, if we have this subversion 1778, we should have the same. There shouldn't be anything different. Then it would be 1779, Well, that's weird.
Right.
I got something to get now.
Yeah, I don't know. If you find an explanation for that, come back at us with it.
Hey, Brian, is yours working? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, no problems.
Are your troubleshooters are all working? Have you tried one?
I've gone through every troubleshooter I can find on it, and everything works.
They'll work? Okay. Do you get the being retired, though?
Do I get the what?
Is it saying it is being retired?
No, nothing about that.
Ooh, I got 2 machines saying that right now. This is home. I don't.
How about a Google search for that specific message that you're getting?
I already tried. Well, no, it takes me to Microsoft. Here's what here. I'll post it in chat. Hold on. I mean, it's.
I'm
gonna. Yep, that's. Oh, sorry.
Okay, there we go. I'll go to that, and then I'm going to come back to follow up on Zavi Menor's link that he put in, because that explained to me what it was about. Deprecation of Microsoft Support Diagnostic Tool and MSDT troubleshooters. Microsoft is retiring the Windows Legacy inbox troubleshooters such as keyboard trouble. Now that's not email inbox, I don't believe. Such as keyboard troubleshooter and speech troubleshooter and the Microsoft Support Diagnostic tool that runs them. The legacy inbox Windows troubleshooters are built-in tools that, when launched, automatically diagnose and correct common problems for a variety of Windows features. MSDT troubleshooters will be deprecated in the next Windows 11 release with the date to be determined. The estimated deprecation timeline will take place over the next 3 years. So, Gary, the thing that you're having with the diagnose not working or whatever it was that's not working, could that be unrelated to this? But no, you're getting this message when you try to do that, right?
It's, am I on? Yeah, it is sending me there to that website.
Yeah, the error that you're getting. Okay, will take place over the next 3 years. Begin redirecting some of the troubleshooters to the new Get Help troubleshooting platform. So they're not deprecating the capability to troubleshoot. They're changing how it's done, maybe?
I don't know. I just noticed it today.
Yeah, that was an idea, a thought that was on my mind as we've been discussing this, is maybe they're just deprecating the way it used to be done. It used to be done with legacy inbox troubleshooters. Now it's going to be done with Get Help troubleshooting platform. So it might be that that function is working for myself and Brian under the new system, and maybe Gary's computers are somehow still trying to use the old legacy method.
I think I know the answer.
Oh, really? Did that statement give you a clue?
Yeah, maybe.
I was wondering if maybe you had some twist of configuration that prevented your computers from using the new system.
We had a while back, we had a problem with Get Help on one of our programs.
Yeah.
Every time it threw an error, it tried to go to Microsoft Get Help. One of our vertical applications that we're paying multi-million-dollar a year for. So we got rid of Get Help on these machines.
You got rid of Get Help?
Yes.
You mean like the Windows 10 application?
Windows 11, but yes. One of the apps from the App Store.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay. All right.
Let's see if that works, and I'll get back to you.
That makes sense. I'm going to go back to follow up on this on Zavi Menor's.
Okay.
Let's see. Here was Zavi Menor gave this IP address, and I was reluctant to bring it up. And here's what it came up with. Oh, it's a Zoom. Yeah, so he found that was a IP address for Zoom is what he brought up. And it showed, when it showed this identification in California, that's when I was wondering if it was somehow my computer. See, I just heard somebody.
There's part of me that thinks that you're dynamic, that because we're residential, we're all using residential IP addresses at our houses. Like, there's no way that any of these sites can perfectly 100% geographically locate you to your specific house because the ISPs rotate around their IP addresses, and every once in a while, unbeknownst to you, you may completely get a completely different IP address from the ISP.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think perhaps at some level, the local Comcast with proper law enforcement motivation might be able to identify whose service that IP address is currently used to. But somebody over the internet, no, they just get a general. In fact, I've seen many things. I get, for example, these notifications that QuickBooks Online sends me text messages saying my account's been logged onto by a computer at such and such, and often that's in the Bay Area, 4-hour drive away from me. Well, it's somehow my internet public IP address goes through some kind of Comcast hub or something. I don't know what it is, long distance away from me.
I have a log of all the IP addresses for our website that I can look at. And sometimes when I look at that log, it logs my IP addresses too, of course, from my house. And I can verify that those IP addresses belong to me at that given time, but it doesn't always show Sheridan, Arkansas. Sometimes it'll show my IP address, but it'll show Little Rock or some other town in Arkansas. So it's not 100% accurate.
Okay. Let me catch up with chat. Give me some time to do that. So I looked at that one from Zavi. Anyone here heard of a program called Genesis Cloud Phone System? Greg is bingo. That was regarding their issue they were talking about, I suppose. Good evening, Scotland. I have client's laptop. This is Martin Hogg. Off topic. I have client's laptop compact Presario with AMD processor running very slow. Has SSD, 4 gigabyte DDR, no malware. Any suggestions? Okay, let me.
The RAM.
Okay, let me talk. Right click on. We'll get into Task Manager, whatever method that you want to. When you're experiencing the sluggishness, look at the CPU column, memory column, disk column, network. See if anything there gives you a clue what's going on. Disable things on the startup tab. Restart the computer. See if you still have the sluggish. Precisely when are you getting the sluggishness? Yeah, let's see. It says running very slow. When is it that you identify or recognize running slow? Is it the length of time it takes to start up, length of time it takes to switch from one program to another, length of time that it takes when you're in Microsoft Word and you do file open, how long it takes for the files to show up? Need very specific. What is a sluggish? Go into reliability history. So it's Windows key, RELIA, and look at reliability history. See if you get any clues in here of what's going on. So sluggish computer, there's a whole lot more to get to. So let's see if Martin Hogg gives us any more. Windows 10, 22, thinking of installing Linux. It has a 500 gigabyte SSD. So in regards to the drive itself, I had recently an SSD that when I ran Crystal Disk Mark on it was getting 2 to 4 megabits per second write speed. The read speed was 300-400. Let's see. Yeah, it was an SSD, 300-400 megabits. In fact, that drive might still be around here. This it? Yeah. Yeah, this is it. I don't have the actual numbers, but low write speed. So just because it's SSD doesn't mean it's performing well. What else does he tell us? SSD is only 25% used, and that's irrelevant as far as the potential that it's misperforming. Task Manager not showing any uses for CPU or disk capacity. Looking further for Martin's comments. Currently doing an update slowly. We'll try when completed. Thanks. Also look at if it's internet activity that's slow. I'll turn off my picture-in-picture here. Right-click, open network settings, change adapter options. He did say it's Windows 10. Right-click on the network adapter status. Look at this number here for speed. If it's showing low speed for some reason. Now, is it over Wi-Fi or is it Ethernet? For things that don't involve the internet, is the computer performing okay? All right, so that just ran through a bunch of stuff. Let's wait and see what other comments we get from Martin. Now, coming back up to where I was highlighted. Robert, 18th second for the 18th time. Oh, I think that's when I was going through the Wireshark because I was looking at the 18th second.
Did you fix that issue with that SSD?
No, I haven't touched it. It's sitting over here, ignored. Well, have I fixed it? Yes, I fixed it. I replaced it.
Well, my first instant thought is that it's possible that SSDs have a limited write cycle, so it's possible that you reach the point where the SSD can be read only, and as it gets closer to that point, it slows down.
Yeah, well, that's not the case here because Crystal Disk Info shows its health good and shows how much it has used of its life, and it's not very much on its life at all. As a matter of fact, I told in a previous video that this SSD is only like 6 months old. I purchased it and installed it 6 months prior, and I suspect that it was faulty from the get-go because when I asked that client afterwards, how's the computer performing? Does it feel faster to you? And she said, no, it might be slower. So I'm guessing that it was defective from the get-go. Let me catch up on chat. Let's see, Selden to Martin, you might use Task Manager, Windows 10 Home, think of installing MX. Let's see, 500 gigabyte. 4 gigabytes is tight for Windows 10. Oh, was he saying it's only got 4 gigabytes free? Yeah, that's not good. Has SSD 4 gig? Oh, that's RAM memory. Yeah, RAM memory for Windows 10 is grown. It used to be okay. It used to run okay. Now, something you could do to test that is on another, perhaps install another disk or do an image backup, do a fresh install Windows 10 and see how that performs. If it is also a problem, that indicates to you there's something else about the computer going on. The SSD is 25% used. Was the slowness only recent? Zavi, the link was for Zoom video communications, and I showed that. I had noticed his comment there. That's why I went back and followed up on that. Task Manager not showing any issues. Ran Israel saying run ncpa.cpl. That is, he was suggesting that, I think, for Windows 11 as a method to get
the network control panel.
Yeah, control panel. CPL, NCPA. Yeah, sounds like a sports something or other. Ran Israel asking to Gary if his computer's domain joined, but I think Gary's subsequently found that perhaps the issue. And then he's given us a link here, which I think was that was the one that we already looked at. Regarding network troubleshooters being moved, and that's a YouTube video telling about that from Tech Savvy Productions. Excuse me.
In my opinion, 8 gigabytes is not even really that liable for Windows 10 anymore.
Okay, you're interrupting me, man. I'm trying to get caught up in chat. We don't need that comment right now. Get Help is a Microsoft Store app. Selden Ball Martin Hogg. While computers being slow, look at Task Manager, Processes tab, left-click column heading, sort by CPU or disk 10. And this is from Zavi to Gary. Windows 11 help you get connected. Restart your modem. We didn't find any problems with your network. What's he telling us here? Zavi to Gary and to me. New view. Oh, this is what the new, I guess the new troubleshooting it looks like. If you're using the new system, that's what I'm interpreting that to mean. Greg,
that's correct.
That's correct. Okay. IP address would reflect MAC ID. Of the network equipment that was assigned to, ISP can determine whose MAC ID it is. Yeah, ISP can determine who you are, but somebody out over the internet can't. Currently doing an update slowly, so we'll try when completed. From Martin. Okay. And then if you're thinking that an update might fix a problem, you also might want to look at optional updates. If the first routine updates don't do it, then the optional updates. Now I had one of my laptops that did caught up on Windows updates because I hadn't turned it on for a couple months, but that has a pretty slow Wi-Fi. It's an older computer, so it took exponentially longer than what I'm accustomed to. But I did another thing with it is when I first connected to my Wi-Fi, it was connected to my 2.4 gigahertz. And when I realized that this was going to take too long, I switched over to my 5.0 gigahertz, and it went much faster.
Yeah.
In fact, it showed its Wi-Fi connection as over gigabit, higher than gigabit, whereas prior it was like 144 megabits per second. And that was I realized that exactly using this method that I showed earlier of going into status to see what speed you're connected with. It showed me that it, whoops, not that way. I want to do right click in status. It showed me 144 megabytes per second. Now I realized, oh, I'm on the 2.4 gigahertz. I switched to the 5.0 gigahertz and it went up to like 1200, 1300, something like that megabits per second. Okay, still working on chat. Selden Ball, all those red marks in your reliability, I trust those are things you expect to understand. Yes, I'm aware of them, and I'm kind of on a slow burn for dealing with them. Martin Hogg was slow all the time, not just on network access. So all the time means when you launch Microsoft Word, it takes a long time to load. When you left click on the start button, it takes a long time for that window to show up. When you right click on any icon on the test bar, it takes a long time for that to show up. Is that what you mean by everything? I've learned to give people multiple choices, and then they start saying, well, no, not when I do that. But it feels to a person like it's everything until you start asking specifics. Let's see, where was I at here? Please let me get caught up. Album's IP address, reflect IP, red marks, reliability, slow all the time. Free waiting room ticket for tonight's show. And I look over once in a while because I have heard doorbells, but I don't see anybody.
He's already given that to me, the waiting room ticket.
You okay? Oh, I get it. Is that I guess Ken's not joining us. He joined us in chat, not in Zoom. Is that a first to be first? Wait a minute, I have tonight's show scheduled. Oh, yes, because I have no redirect set up. Well, and we know I'm about to end the show. Well, since we know Doug won't do it, I figure we'll punch Alex's ticket tonight to make up for it. Yeah. Oh, that was for interrupting me when I was trying to catch up with chat. Yeah, that's
me why and him have been talking on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger for a little while, me and Ken. So I figured out before I interrupted you even that I'd end up there at least 2 or 3 times tonight or something.
Oh, all right. Okay, I think I'm getting ready to wind this down. I did successfully show up some things in Wireshark and see the communications for YouTube. We went through a few of those different items on my list. And Parker Morse. Hello, Parker Morse. Don't think I've seen you for a while. You got here just in time to say goodbye. And, oh, Jim says, Carrie's live again, by the way. Let's see. I'm going to go over here and check to see if Ken actually has something scheduled. So if I go over here to his show, nope, he doesn't have anything scheduled. Boy, I don't know. Am I going to drag my feet into waiting for him to get around to it? Yes. Was that Alex?
No.
Oh. Ken to Jim. Yes, that notification I get later. Okay, so I'm gonna set up. I'll do a refresh here. If I don't get it, then I'm gonna go set up redirect to Carrie.
Doug, did you watch yesterday's Ken stream by any chance?
Yes, I did. I may not be recollecting what you. I don't sit there and watch it, so I have it running while I'm doing other things. So if you have something specific,
you know about my my mom's computer issue I had yesterday that I have already fixed.
Oh, that's right. You said you had something that tell us about that you have fixed. So let's go ahead and get your story. Go ahead.
Okay, well, yesterday I went to install the free version of Macrium Reflect on my mom's computer to do a backup of her computer. Well, it started to back up, and then Macrium Reflect gave me an error. It said it was error 23, something about not being able to read from the source disk, meaning the SSD on her computer. So I look it up, and someone says on the forum, on Macrium Reflect forum, to run disk check. I'll run disk check, and apparently there was some kind of error or something because it said trying to do automatic repair or running repairing hard drive errors or repairing SSD errors, as it rebooted and showed that on the BIOS screen like it does when you run a disk check. So after it finished that, it rebooted once. It rebooted once. It crashed. I turned it off. It started up again. It crashed again. I restarted it again. It restarted properly the third time, and then I was able to successfully do the Macrium backup and verify the Macrium backup. So I now have a backup of her computer. But here's the strange part, and everybody else on KenZoom doesn't seem to think this was related, but I kind of still do it. But I kind of want your opinion on it as well. Is ever since I built the computer, to the best of my knowledge, it's happened ever since I built the computer, I've been hearing this noise where I thought it was a CPU fan. It will constantly ramp up, and it would constantly ramp up and down. Like it would go up and then slow down for a second, and then immediately, almost a minute or two later, go back up, and keep on doing that constantly, consistently for the past 5 years, because it's very audible. So I've been hearing it. Well, after doing that disk check yesterday, I no longer hear that. So I'm thinking that I was going to ask you if you thought if somehow me doing that disk check and it repairing the errors on the drive had something to do with the CPU fan, or the fan in the computer revving up and down.
Well, my first reaction to that, and it's just speculation or letting my imagination drift, is if the computer thinks that the fan needs to be sped up because it thinks that it's working harder, could it be that it thinks it's working harder because whatever is in that damaged part of a file somewhere was causing it to retry and work really hard at it, and therefore causing the CPU utilization to go up? Now, I'd be curious, did you try watching the CPU utilization when the fan was ramping up like that?
Yes, I did. Whenever I would hear it, just out of curiosity's sake, before I would always open up Task Manager and see what the CPU percentage is, and the CPU percentage, all the little details. If you open up Task Manager and show details, all the little processes would go one or two of them would always go from like low to high. And now that I ran that check disk and it's not ramping up and down, they all stay at very low consistently if her computer is doing nothing, running idle, and before it did not do that.
Okay, well, that makes sense that the fan was ramping up in correlation to the CPU utilization. And to put two and two together, I'm thinking that is likely what's going on, is whatever was damaged was causing the computer to work harder. Now, you could have gone into hardware info where you can monitor the different cores and threads of the CPU to maybe see more specifically what's going on. Now, when you did that check disk, did it report to you what files it found with damage something or other?
No. When I did the check disk, I ran the CHKDSK through command prompt and then did the /R, and then it said it needed to reboot. and then I rebooted it, and it went through there, and it said fixing C, and checked every file on the machine, and rebooted, and it blue screened a time or two, but it finally came on and let me remake the Macrium image again, and everything seems to be working, and the revving went away. So,
all right. Well done. Sounds like you went through a good procedure. Although it took you years to get to that procedure.
Yeah, and as far as I know, there's no way that I can verify this, but as far as I know, this revving up and down has literally been happening since I first built the computer on day one, and I just never realized.
Yeah, that would imply there was something
a corrupt system.
Yeah, there's something wrong that whole time.
The system has never been reinstalled. It's always just been upgraded, in place.
All right, let me do a last catch up on chat, and then we'll shut down. I got to punch buttons here. No, he'll do it later. That's probably in relation to your ticket to the waiting room. Bye till next time, Salt and Ball. See some of you tonight. I'll have my finger on the Alex trigger. Bye for now, George. Keep crashing Windows Explorer. See why Carrie already started. It's a fan, possibly CPU, and I think we've shown that that's not the case. Fan scratched the hard drive. I think System Alex is talking about is Intel. LonnDawg, hey Doug, I've been out in the world. I was delivering that computer we talked about last week. Then I was doing some errands, but I was listening to you guys the whole time. I'd like to hear the story about that. Not now, LonnDawg. Maybe during a Windows Daily, or send me an email or something. Cell phone earbuds, just got home. You guys are about to wrap it up. Good time. Have you run check disk after the backup to make sure SSD has no issues? That would have been directed to Alex. Don't answer that now. LonnDawg, Alex, what I was taught in school and my worldly experiences, whenever Windows discovers a problem using check disk, it is to some degree something to investigate further, because Windows Disk Check is actually pretty poor. Now, another comment, though, is Alex told us that it blue screened and it rebooted. So I also think there was some automated Windows repair going on there, beyond just check disk.
It also said starting automatic repair at some point after the check disk.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that the fix might have been during that automatic repair rather than during check disk. Whatever check disk did might have caused the blue screen and triggered the automatic repair, and you wound up with a fixed computer. However it gets fixed, we're happy. All right, I'm going to shut down now, everybody. Your Zoom, you're on screen. For those of you who are willing and able and have cameras on, please say goodbye to the audience. Actually, audio.
Bye.
Gary,
goodbye, audience.
Sayonara.
All right.
Can I make a quick comment, Doug?
Go ahead, Gary.
We had gotten rid of GitHelp, which is a Windows app. I put it back on. Troubleshooters are now using GitHelp as part of the troubleshooter. Before, and that is reporting back, because I was checking it, it's reporting back to Microsoft when you do a troubleshooter now.
All right.
Previously on Windows 11, it did not.
All right. So problem solved. Good.
Yeah. Bye. Good night.
Happy day. All right. Good night. Goodbye. Ending meeting for all. Punch this button to bring my email address up. And hey, have a great Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Let the people know that you appreciate their service, for those who are veterans or currently serving. And I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.